Okay, welcome to room number 2. As I keep telling you on Saturday mornings, we've got to roll them in. Got to roll them in. And I tell you what, I wanted to get this guy in early before it starts going too crazy and I won't get no access to him. Good job though, me and his manager's good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, good job. Me and Tony is
Okay,
like, we're
okay.
good, we're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, we're going to let you have him.
Nice.
Early. Introduce yourself, bro.
My name's Shifky, aka Lewis Jankel, from North London. I'm 20 years old and I'm a singer, producer, DJ.
Singer, producer, DJ.
Yeah.
Right, now before we get into the track that's blowing up and it's gone viral, we're going to get into that in a little while.
Right.
For the people logged on right now, they might not be too familiar with who you are. Give them a little insight about, how we've got to this stage where we are now.
So about 3 years ago, I sent a record label called Bullet Train Records, 2 EPs that I'd finished. And they were like, yeah, we really like them. So they put them out and then that developed some other interests, some radio interest. And then I signed a deal with Columbia Records. That was about June last year. And then I did some different, writing and did some second single stuff. And then we're here today, pretty much.
Okay, so I mean, what was the leads that you made? Because I mean, when did you start doing music? What did you start doing first? Because I know you said you're a songwriter, producer, and DJ. So
Yeah.
what was you doing first? Out of
So
all
I was
three?
in a band when I was like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And started doing the kind of UK pub thing when I was like 13. And then when I was 16, they were a couple years older, so they went off to music college, and I decided to kind of take things into my own hands and put my own vocals on my own beats, pretty much because I had to, not because I thought it would be a good idea, but just because I didn't have any other singers. So I did that, and then kind of led me to here.
Okay. What do you find the most challenging to do out of all the stuff that you're gifted at doing?
I feel that I need them all to do each other. So I need the singing to make my DJing more interesting. I need the production to make my singing more interesting, which also makes the DJing more interesting. And then the DJing makes the singing and the production more interesting. So if I didn't have one of those elements, I wouldn't be who I am.
So what music would you collect in then? Because what style of music do you play? Is it the same as what you
Yeah,
make?
I mean, it's a lot of house and techno and garage and that kind of stuff. There's also a bit of big room kind of stuff in there, some kind of electro bits and whatnot. But personally, I love UK garage. I love the Architects. I love Artful Dodger. I love Craig David. I love that whole era. But I like a lot of R&B and people like Usher and even Stevie Wonder and just broad taste. But still, I'm clear on what I like.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned those artists there because they're very soulful, and your style of singing is very, very soulful. Would that have anything to do with like what you're inspired by?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't listened to a lot of other styles of singing, so that's kind of all I really know, to be honest.
Yeah. So here you are now in the music industry.
Yeah.
Shifky.
Yeah.
Making a name for yourself. So how did you hook up with like the Columbia deal then? How did you get that deal? How did that come about?
That was from the radio support that I got on the first 2 EPs that I did with Bullet Train.
Yeah.
So had some kind of Radio 1 love, had some Annie Mac kind of support and Mr. Jam and and that kind of put me in their radar. And then I played them Touch, which I wrote actually a year and a half before that point. So I wrote that when I just met my girlfriend at the time. And it was a genuine kind of documentation of how I was feeling at that time. So I just kind of put my words down, produced it up, and that was the single that they decided to go with.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the whole UK scene at the moment? How are you feeling it?
It's complex. I mean, I've just got back from the US, so it's interesting to see both of them back to back. I think what it is that we have the luxury of being different over here. In the US, you don't really have that luxury as much unless you are very, very, very different. but there's not as much freedom in terms of where you can reside in terms of your genre. You've got black radio, you've got white radio, and you've got EDM, and you've got indie. And if you don't fit into those categories, then you've kind of got to shove it into one of those to get it on radio and to get it into labels and all that. Whereas over here, we kind of, you can go to Shoreditch on a Thursday night and you can see Breach, ASAP Rocky, back to back with whoever, and then you can go and see, I don't know, Tiesto straight after or whatever, because we have everyone in the same city, which allows you to do more with your music and have more fun with it, I think.
So would you say, like, even garage, how is that perceived then in LA then?
They didn't grow up with it. Like
right.
we did.
Obviously, yeah, because it's like a lot, even though it's a spiral of house, but the garage thing itself,
they get it. They understand it. They understand it. They just didn't grow up with it. So it's not as important to their culture as it is to ours. Like, also they didn't have grime, and they didn't, obviously, and they didn't have even like jungle. They had breakbeat, and I think as close as they got to garage is kind of like Stanton Warriors kind of thing. Craig David had some kind of bubble over there, and I think he's probably the only UK garage artist that's kind of made a bit of a racket over there.
Yeah,
it's tough, but they appreciate it and they understand it. You just can't be talking about, I walked down the street and I took the tube and then I got in the lift and drank some tea, because they didn't grow up with it. They know, they know cheeseburgers and Botox.
So you'd have to just sing that then in garage.
Yeah. Cheeseburgers and Botox.
See, that sounds good. Do you know what I mean?
Cheeseburger, Botox, like that. Yeah. In an American accent.
In an American accent, yeah. Wannabe American accent.
Yeah, and then just put a 4/4 drop.
Yeah.
And you
And then you can just get some really random MC on it as well.
Yeah.
You know them
like
ones?
2 Chainz.
Yeah, two chains.
True.
Gucci.
ASAP. Yeah.
I hear you. We've got Shivky in the building on a Saturday morning right here on the Universal Show. It's good to have you here,
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to have you here. So listen, let's talk about the single now.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of touched on it just briefly.
Touch.
Yeah, just touch.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
I like what you did.
Did you like that? Listen, man.
You didn't realise you did that.
No, it's just natural.
You're too quick.
You're
too quick, you don't even realise.
Didn't even realise. Touch. Tell us about Touch.
Okay, so as I said, it was a song I wrote about my girlfriend, and then originally your current girlfriend. Yeah. That would be awkward. Originally, the song was like 10 BPM slower. It didn't have the same kind of production. It was just a lot more minimal. And then I was like, I didn't want people to straight away say like, oh, that sounds like Disclosure. Oh, that sounds like Route 94. Oh, that sounds like this. So I upped the tempo, changed the drums, added some more synths, redid the vocals, and then kind of landed it firmly in that UK garage pocket, so to speak. So it was a conscious move to make it a bit more unique compared to what was going on at the time. Not saying that records like that haven't been made before, but I think if I'd had it at the same tempo as all this other stuff going on, it might not have received the light that it's receiving at the moment.
Do you feel like with the likes of Disclosure making the tracks that they've made, it's made it easier to go down that kind of route again?
Definitely, 100%. Because when I started making those tracks, all the tracks that I was making had that kind of feel, had that kind of upbeat house thing, and I was just thinking, I can't just do what everyone else is doing, because there's a lot of acts that I feel, and I won't name any names in particular, but I feel like they're just playing it safe. And in 2014, I think it's our responsibility as music makers to do everything but play it safe. I had this conversation with Skrillex in New York, and we can't. It's 2014. Why can't we make a song that has an industrial bit, then a techno bit, then a garage bit, then a folk bit, whatever? It doesn't matter. It's music, and it's whatever makes people want to go out and have a good time, and whatever people require to have a good time is what we should be offering. So whether that's big room house with just a 4/4 kick drum and a lead synth, or whether it's a UK garage song, or whatever. It's what people want to hear to have a good time and have fun.
Well, that's funny. That's an interesting point that you've just brought up, because you're saying that people want to play it safe. One of the reasons why they probably been doing that is because, they want that radio play.
Yeah, true.
Or
true.
they might want that YouTube
thing.
Attention.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, is that what's happening? I'm going to go down that road.
Exactly.
How are you going to break that mold, though, Shifkin?
Well, I think the idea is to just keep surprising people with my choices of singles. So, for example, the next single is a little bit slower. It's a bit more in that kind of house pocket, but it's still very true to who I am. But then the flip side to that is a track with Screw Fizzer that's like, kind of Dirty South meets Diplo meets like Knife Party almost, but it's still very UK and not. It's when I say Knife Party, I don't mean like hard dubstep. I just mean in terms of some of the sounds that are being used and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's very me. It's very something that I would want to do. And then the songs that I'm looking to do after that are very like throwback soul based, where I'm playing all the instruments and it's got live drums and live bass and. So I mean, it's all over, and then there's more garage stuff and more trap stuff, and so. What
instruments do you play? Out of curiosity.
So piano is my primary instrument. I still believe, and I'll stand by this, that I think it is the superior instrument to everything else. You can play guitar, you can play bass, whatever, but piano is translatable to every other instrument you can think of. So I think that is very key to my production. Messing with different sounds and different chords and different melodies and stuff. That's kind of where all that comes from for me.
Okay. Anybody that you'd like to work with? Or anybody that you have worked with that maybe I should know about?
Not really, no. I mean, maybe future collaborations. I really want to do some US rap stuff. So people like Kendrick, ASAP, Chance the Rapper, even someone like 2 Chainz, I think would be massively beneficial to me as a UK artist trying to have a record over there.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Crazy. Now this is something I wanted to ask you about the whole social media thing.
Okay,
how you feel about it? Because I mean, it was quite interesting actually. I went to this seminar the other week, and one of the things that came up that day was they were saying how artists feel under pressure these days to match up to their overseas counterparts, to look really busy and active online. Yeah. So much so they're actually going down the road of actually paying to get more views on YouTube and even to get more followers on Twitter. Right. How do you feel about things like that?
It's a tough game really, because you are competing against hundreds of thousands of other people that are doing that and that are really good at it. Myself, I try and keep it just related to the music, in terms of Facebook and Instagram and those kind of things. But like, if you want to know what I'm eating for breakfast, then you'd follow me on Twitter. But I still, even on Twitter, I try and keep it specifically related to things that I'm interested in. So if you're interested in me, you'll probably be interested in those things, because we share. If you like what you're hearing and you like what I'm saying, then. But I think more than anything, it's a platform, and.
But do you feel pressure on yourself?
I used to feel a lot of pressure, especially when you're looking up to you might see the latest guy in your area or whatever that's got like 50,000 Facebook likes or whatever. But then you click on the likes thing and you go through and then you see like, okay, 95 of them are in Timbuktu or whatever.
Nah, man, it's probably his niece or something.
Yeah, his niece.
His niece. Yeah. Do it.
Or creating new Facebook accounts.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. But I mean, it's important. But at the same time, I don't sell out my gigs via Facebook, but I'm sure a lot of people do. Yeah. It's different for everyone. Personally, I think the website's the most important one, and having a good mailing list. And because those are the things that can sell out arenas overnight. If Ticketmaster or whoever decide to put out a mailer that night, you can pretty much guarantee that it'll be sold out next morning, just because of how many people they have available. I don't think, unless you're Justin Bieber or One Direction, I don't think you're going to have that same pull on Twitter or Facebook. And even Facebook, moving their response down to now 2%, 4% maximum reach, it's just, you're never going to reach your fans, ever. You'd be better off sending messages to them individually and telling them to watch your video than actually posting something on a Facebook page.
Are you quite interactive?
I try. I used to be a lot more active on my Facebook page, but now it's very focused around releases, videos, and content. So if it doesn't fall into that, it doesn't get on the Facebook page, but it will still go on my Twitter and my Instagram. So that's kind of, if you want to know what I'm thinking about and what I'm into, then that's the kind of place to go. And that, to be honest, I think that's the main reason why I like Twitter, because, you know, say if I like an artist and I want to know what music they're into, I can go on their SoundCloud and look at their likes, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, they're into that sort of stuff. And then, you know, I think social media, it's a tool and it's a platform. It's not a way to make you famous.
I like that.
That's how I feel about it.
I like that. You can keep talking, you know. It
Okay.
sounds good. It's Saturday morning. Usually I'm gassing a lot, so you know what I mean. It's nice to hear you talking.
It's
man.
early for this though. Really. I mean, you know, I've just got out of bed. I'm not ready to start commenting on the world. No, I'm joking. It's all good. It's all good.
So listen, there you have it. Shifky in the building.
Yeah,
So
man.
nice to have you here, man. Debut on my show. I hope it's not going to be the only time that you come, though.
No, I'll come back.
No, you have to come
100%.
back. We're going to make it happen. So,
Yeah.
what's in the plans? You know, for the summer and that.
So there should be a single in the next 12 weeks called I Know.
Yeah.
And the flip side to that is the one with Screw Fizzer. Then there'll be a few more singles and then an album summer next year.
Summer next year, 2015. Okay.
Ish. Don't hold me to that. But
Okay. Okay. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So listen, you got a bright future ahead of you.
hopefully so.
You know, most definitely. Listen,
Okay.
when you come on this show, it's over after that.
All right, okay.
It's over after that. Any last things you'd like to say before you get out the door this morning?
I'd just like to say thanks. Thanks for having me.
No
and
problem.
yeah, stay tuned.
And can you give out, we're talking about it, social media stuff.
Yeah.
Can you give out the information where they can
Yeah,
correspond
sure.
with you?
Everything is at Shiftkey. So
Yeah. Can you spell that for them? 'Cause they
yeah,
might not.
Shift SHIFT K3Y. On Twitter, same. Facebook, facebook.com/Shiftkey. SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Shiftkey. Website, shiftkey.com. It's all Shiftkey.
And can you introduce your current single that the girls are going crazy for in the clubs right now?
Okay. This is my new single, Touch. I'm Shiftkey. You're listening to Special K.